Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. This is the place where you will get the best from the very best in automotive retail. I would like to humbly introduce the Fixed Ops Magazine panel, which will be moderated by our good friend, the publisher of Fixed Ops Magazine, Ron Overs. Ron, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Hey, thanks so much, Ted. Really looking forward to this time together.
Ron, you have put together quite a panel. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see some Tully buttons out there. So I will let you get things started, and I will step out of the way, and I'll see you towards the end.
Sounds great, Ted. Look forward to it. Thank you. Well, thanks, everyone. Listen, Fixed Ops Magazine, this is, starting, I believe, next month, we're going into our 20th year of publication. So, you know what? We survived. We're just getting started and we're figuring this game out. And what we figured out really early on was find the brilliant people who are doing this job every day rather than trying to write the magazine ourselves and tell people how to do their job. And that little secret has worked really, really well for us. And so we find the best of the best and we say, hey, can you do me a favor and write an article? And we compile those and also look for great products to get advertised in the magazine. And it's worked out really, really well. So this great group that we've got together today are people that have just been all contributors to the magazine, all who have worked with us. And I look forward to just asking them a few questions and, basically wind them up and let them go and have them tell me what they know about something and what's new with them. So here we are. We're in 2022. It's September, and we've gone through 263 days as I count them. We got 102 days left in the year. And tell me, you made these great plans at the end of 2021, early 2022, and said, hey, I've got a plan, and this plan's going to work. So I just am checking in with a few of you and saying, so here you are. How's it going? You got 100 days left to put this together and actually put a plus or a minus on the wall at the end of this whole thing. How's that working for you? Sarah, let's start with you since you've had a big change in life, right? With all this new responsibilities with Quantum 5. Tell me, how's it working out for you?
Yes, Ron, it's been super exciting. So in July, I was promoted to the Vice President of Sales for Quantum 5, which was a really awesome opportunity to continue to just grow our dealer client base and also our learners on the platform. We've had a lot of really exciting dealers join our amazing learning programs, and we've seen a lot of amazing results from these stores. And so it's really exciting as we get into September and the later part of this year. It's really exciting to see all the different changes and development that they've had from our learning.
And for you, what a big change, right? From even, take a year ago, where you were and, your responsibilities have grown so much. It's pretty awesome to see.
Oh, yes. And it's been exciting to evolve from just the BDC piece, which has always been my passion. BDC will always be my passion. But to add even more components to our company has just been an amazing opportunity.
Fantastic. I think, and that's a lesson also learned today with everyone who's involved with this business, that how jobs are evolving today and how opportunities are evolving today, right? We all talk about there's shortages of people out there. We're not just talking about technicians and, service advisors. The great people in every aspect of fixed operations, there's a shortage of. And so it means a great opportunity for everyone that's out there today. So it's pretty exciting. Tully, let's start right off with a man and tell me about how are your plans going for the year?
Well, I feel we're going really well. My goal was this year is let's dial in the processes and make people happy. And I'm telling you, what we've done is that we've been focusing on the KPIs that we care about. First, it's all about the hours, isn't it? Making sure we sell that capacity. But are we doing the processes right in the service drive as we write them up to the tech videos and pictures? And are we sending those quotes out? And of course, are we selling those hours? And I'm telling you, this year has been a monumental year for the Nilo company, double-digit year-over-year growth. But wow, really, I've got people to believe the process works so they can all make more money for them and their families.
That is fantastic. Now, do you hear that so many times in the sports analogy, right? The guy's just like, if they'll just buy into my system, if it's football, I see Brett Favre's up there on the wall behind Sean. They had a system. They have a system in place, I play a lot of tennis and watch a lot of tennis, and they all have a system, a plan. I mean, they don't just hit balls back and forth across the net. They're hitting it to a place for a reason. There's always, they're always trying to set up the next shot, get themselves ready for the next opportunity to win. Our business is much the same way, right? I mean, you got to set up the plan. You got to make it work. And this is what it's all about. And it makes great sense. Tully, as you've seen, we had Ed on the cover, well, Ed's been on the cover twice. Okay, let's be honest. All right. So Ed's really done a great job,
He's the superstar.
Well, you know what? This started off, I flew to California when I looked at taking on this opportunity to be the publisher. And I sat on the plane next to someone who looked kind of down and out. And I must look like a preacher that day or something. I must have had a black eye on because this guy just dumped his information on me about what was going on in his life. But about 3/4 through his conversation, he goes, "Oh, I work for Beaux-Arts, and it's an amazing organization." And I'm like, "So why am I going to California to interview this dealer in San Diego? I'm going to go back to St. Augustine and meet these people at Beaux-Arts." And Ed was amazing, right from the start, really showing me the ropes and how they ran their place. So for that, he's found himself twice on the cover, and we, Sarah, who's done an absolutely amazing job with BDC and on, we had a great opportunity to share her in an article. Theodore, he always finds a way to get his face in front of a camera. We got him in there, and he did an amazing job for us with that article. And then, want to reward people who've done a great job. Les, has been just a stalwart in the industry, and we got it going. But there was one guy who was kind of missing, and he will show up in September. This is just a real sneak preview, but those buttons on everybody, I'll tell you that, this man right here is going to show up on the magazine, for the September-October 2022 edition, which is going to be a lot of fun. And we got a great article. You're going to learn all of his dirty past history, what jobs, where he started life, and all the things that didn't go well in his life. I mean, you got to read this article. It's going to be really great. I mean, you're going to have so much on Tully. It will be great. So
it's a great honor, I tell you, to share this magazine cover with all these great people. Ron, thank you. And of course, my mentor Ed and Sarah on that cover, and these other people that are going to be on that cover. I cannot thank you enough. And thank you to the Fixed Ops community, and of course, Mr. Ted Ings.
Absolutely. It all starts. And we really, one of the things very early on, you can learn to say, I'm going to get in a fight with Ted, or I'm going to be have fun with Ted. And we decided we're going to have fun together. And you know what? It's really worked out well for both of us. It's been a lot of fun to just watch this all come together and see what happens. So Sean, tell me, 263 days in to 2022, how's your life? How's it going there at the dealership?
It's good. We've grown, and I think most know we went from 4 stores to 20 stores in less than 5 years, or 22 stores now. And I got to tell you, the goal of 2022 for us was to stop the firefighting. And I don't know that happened, but I can tell you that right now, I'm as of live, and we're looking at numbers, we're 30% year over year. So something's gone right. But I don't know that the firefighting has stopped, because I don't think that the obstacles have changed. Again, we talk about personnel and techs, and all the way down to porters and parts people. The challenges haven't changed. I think that the grind of 2008 has returned. I think it's more of a grind than ever. But I think those that succeed, or that have succeeded through that, are succeeding again. And we're creating the next generation to do the same thing. Fantastic.
Now that sounds exact. And you know what? I'm talking to a lot of dealers across the country. Not everybody's up 30%. Newsflash, there's a lot of guys that have not seen the growth that you guys are talking about. And, I'm guessing it is the process, it's the plan, it's the implementing all the tools.
it's always, listen, I always say this, it's process. It's doing the right things, whether whoever's there or not there. The only bad decision is no decision. Just make a decision. And at the end of the day, guys, it's a people business. It always comes back to the people. Every time. It's always about people.
Right. And Scott, great to see you back on the ground, not flying a plane today. I have a private pilot license as well, so I know about a checklist and all the things that you have to do, right, to really make sure that you is that my phone? Oh, well. But hey, Scott, so tell me a little bit about how your year's going.
It's been very good. We've had some growth in service. Our goal was to implement processes and improve processes. We've done that. I think the buzzword for this year is shortage, because there's a shortage of pretty much everything: inventory, both new and used, parts, personnel. So there's been hurdles along the way, but we've taken them in stride and cleared them and adapted and adjusted and made improvements, actually. So I think we've become leaner and meaner, I guess you'd say, because of all of it, and improved the output of the shop. We're actually producing more hours with less ROs, which is a good thing. And we have seen increases, not 30%, I don't think, but 10 to 12% increase year over year. So that's good.
That's pretty awesome. Now, that's all really good stuff. Jim, you go out and see a lot of dealers, right? I mean, they're processing warranties and that type of thing. What are you hearing when you're talking to dealers about how their business is going this year?
Thank you, Ron. And before I answer, I just want to say happy anniversary. And as someone who's had a front row seat for the whole time, I'd say you haven't only survived, but you've thrived. So congratulations. Provide a great service to the industry.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think everybody sort of says the same thing slightly differently, which is things are great, but we see some storm clouds on the horizon. Yeah. We all know that the inventory shortage is eventually going to work itself out. And with more new vehicle sales may come the old bad habits, such as margin compression. If we sell more new vehicles, that's going to lessen the demand for used vehicles. But maybe most important to all of us, more new vehicles on the road means potentially less CP laden vehicles on the road. And we're already seeing wide reports of falling RO counts. In addition, Cox recently reported that 57% of dealers said they were having a hard time finding service personnel. 80% said it was going to be a problem in the future. So a lot of, and that's just what we're seeing today. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the economy, particularly with interest rates and inflation. So I think all of this is sort of giving us a picture that we've got to be sharp as we go into the future and be looking for more ways to drive more customers and maybe more important, improve the bottom line.
Fantastic. And you're right. I think I'm hearing the same things that you are about what's going on out in the industry today. And it's been quite a challenge for a lot of guys. Let's see. Let's switch it up just a little bit here, and let's talk about what challenges do you have left between now and the end of the year? We're getting back to that 100 days thing. Let's stay on that theme for one more minute, and just tell me, you got 100 days to the finish line. What do you plan on doing to change it up a little bit to get to where you need to go? Maybe you've had to make some inline corrections, right? I mean, if we're taking the football analogy, you're going to run the ball, and it's not working. Okay, you're down by 20. It's time to start throwing the ball. Okay, so and I think at times we have to do that in our business, right? We got the best laid plans. We try to run those plans. The next thing you know, it's like, well, that was a good plan. However, we're going to plan B starting right now, and that's what we'll do. So, Scott, tell me, what would you do for the next 100 days that's going to maybe shake your place up a little bit and make it different?
We're going to continue improving the processes and working on the culture to try to attract people here. We do have a good reputation in town, especially that this is the place to work, and I just want to continue to grow that and nurture. We're implementing some processes for mentoring programs to try and grow our own technicians too, having them work with master technicians and working out a plan of action for them to grow and come up actually from the lube rack or even a lot attendant all the way to senior master tech eventually. So we've laid out the groundwork for that, getting that started this month, and that will be the focus for the rest of the year is to get that going.
That sounds great. Ed, remember this cover? Homegrown technicians. You know, we were talking about it last year, and the truth of it is it's so important, right? If you're just trying to go out there and steal techs, tough job, right? Really tough job.
There's only so many to steal. You have to create
Right,
them.
yeah.
You have to put new ones out there. You got to add to it.
And if you think you're a good criminal stealing, there's someone better. I just want to let you know there is someone who's better than you are, okay?
Or they got deeper
maybe
pockets.
not brighter, maybe not going to make the profit, but they can steal better than you can.
Yeah.
And that's a tough way to grow your business today. So, you know, growing some technicians, Scott, great idea. Great plan for next 100 days of things to do. Ed, how about yourself? Other than trying to sell me another car, okay? I do have another Mustang coming in, and I just figure I'm just going to just have these things come in as fast as I can get them, you know, and just fill the world with Mach-E's is what I'm doing. You know, what's your plan the next 100 days?
Well, I'm expecting that Mustang for you any day now. So I
Fantastic.
should see it here soon. But I think Sean's got to keep running the ball. If he's up by 30, I don't know that he needs to change his game plan yet at the moment. But
sure.
Great job, guys. But in 21, it was a record-breaking year for all of us. And what it really told us was, hey, that was market conditions that really drove that. We're not the heroes that look like we are. And it was our opportunity to circle back and make sure that we're training. And that's our focus ongoing this year is continue to train, continue to get better, continue to make things happen. And when you do that, in June, we broke every record we had in the building, only to do it again in July, only to break July's numbers in August. And here we are in September looking to do that again. So it's amazing that when you do prepare for things to happen, what falls in line with it. And so training is the name of the game, not just with growing technicians, but with every aspect of the business.
For sure. Sarah, are you finding that the dealers that you're working with already are increasing, staying the same, or decreasing their training budgets for the year ahead?
Well, Ron, I think it really comes down to perception, right? Because the perception of the dealers that we're partnering with are people that know this is the time to invest in my people. While we have the opportunity when we're not scrambling, when things aren't dire, this is the great time to start investing in our people, looking at our new hires and figuring out ways that we can adapt processes, train, learn, and then of course, like to Ed's point, continue to keep cultivating our talent that's within our organization to keep them motivated, to keep them happy so that they stay on board. And so that really has been the clients that we've been seeing the most success with. They've taken that bull by the horns and they want every single opportunity for their people to really learn skills, not a word track that has been around for a decade, not, some clothes that they've practiced 14 times in a mirror. They want real skills to connect to people, to build the value that customers want to see. And they want to have that relationship. And so really, I mean, yeah, the people that we've been looking at are ready to go. They want to make sure that their people are happy. They really align with that view.
Makes great sense. I did a lot of training, mostly in the F&I departments before I got involved with the fixed operations. And first thing I would do in role playing, I'd say, okay, now show me your presentation. And many times at the end of it, I'd say, never use that presentation again. Okay. And you're at 20%, you should be at 50%. And let me explain to you what's missing in your presentation. Okay. And let's start from scratch on what's important to your customer, not what's important to you. I know you want to sell a service contract. I know you want to sell pre-scheduled maintenance. I know you want a gap policy. But what's important to the customer? And then let's get that kind of training so that you have the empathy for the customer. And then the results are just going to happen. Training is so important today. And it's great to hear that your dealers that are all in with Quantum 5 get that, you know what, it's time to take those people that you still have that haven't left your store for someone else who's, scoundreled them for a few more bucks, and you put your money into them and train them and keep them, in your store and keep them productive and content in what they do. Now that sounds great. Let's go with Sean. Sean, tell me about your training, your plans. What are you looking at the year ahead?
I think for the last 100 days for us, because we've been running at such a high peak level, I think, and I had a ton of conference calls today. I think for Q4 is keeping the motivation. I think that we can talk about the variable side with these high commissions, with these over sticker, and where these salespeople come down off of that ledge and where they fit. I don't know that it's much different than fixed operations. We, as Ed said, we've been so busy and we produce so high. We've set paychecks so high that I think there's a comfort level that you got to be scared to hit. And for Q4, and as we said, and as Ed said, July is a record, August is a record, September, obviously, we're all shooting for the same thing, another record. How do you keep that motivation day in and day out while the grind still hits you upside the head? I mean, it's a constant day battle, and not everybody can ride the train at the speed that you're on. And that's okay too. But keeping the motivation throughout the whole team is key. And it's got to start with the leader. It always starts with the leader. If the leader wakes up bad, the whole day's bad. It always starts from the top.
Very, very good. Now, wise words for sure. Now, each one of you is a mentor, right? I mean, there's people in your place that are looking at you and say, I want to be Ed. I want to grow up to be Ed, maybe a little more hair, but I'd like to be just like Ed at the end of the day, okay? I mean, that's what's going on in your store, right? I mean, so the question I have for you is, who's your mentor today? Who in the last year have you looked to who said, you know what? I've learned from this person. This person has helped me grow my business. It's helped me become a better person in what I do. Ed, how about yourself?
So it's not any one person. I do have a couple of mentors, but really it's this network right here. It's you, Ron. It's Ted. It's Tully. It's Sean. It's Sarah. I mean, it's us communicating with each other because that's what we do. We learn from each other, and we're all trying different things out in the marketplace, and we're trying it a different way. We may be trying to get the same thing accomplished, but we're trying things differently. And we all hit on something that works for us. Well, sometimes those things works for the rest of us as well. So you see my face around because I want to learn from you guys, and I want to soak things up. My main mentor is the guy that gave me the opportunity in this business, and that's Charlie Waters. And we still communicate every 2-3 times a week to go back and forth with ideas for him, ideas for me. But I have a lot of mentors, and it's all you guys. So thank you.
Fantastic. How about you, Scott? Who do you turn to when you're trying to review what you're doing? Or
I'd have to kind of agree with Ed. It's not just one person, and this Fixed Ops Roundtable, it's been great. The Fixed Ops magazine, so much information in that that you can learn, and just so many people that have helped me through the years. I worked at Sewell, in the Sewell organization for a long time, so I'd say one of the top guys for me was Carl Sewell, and he really taught me a lot about customer service and how to treat people and how to treat your employees and just how to create a good culture and everything. So just picking one person, it would be Carl Sewell, but you guys like Ed, with his mobile service and all the stuff that he does, and Sarah, all she's doing for Quantum 5, and then Tully and Sean and Jim and you, Ron. It's just a wealth of information, and I just love to be here and soak it all in, honestly.
it is. It's the most fun I have in this whole job is because I get, I ask people to write articles, and I get like 20, 30 of them per issue, and we get 10 of them stuffed in the magazine. But I read 30 articles from people that gave me their best effort of what they want to tell people like yourself, what's working for them, or what you need to consider in your business. And that is so fun because at the end of the day, you're just getting a little sharper. You're understanding the business a little bit better. You're getting their perspective on it. Even if they're an advertiser, who's just trying to sell their wares, and they're like, hey, I got this great thing you all need to have. And you say, yeah, prove it to me, in 1,000 words or less, okay, in some sort of English, show me that, you know what you're talking about. And it's fun to really get someone to boil their thoughts down and say, what's really important to you and how do you make that work. So that can be a lot of fun. It really can. Did you really just start learning from each other? Sean, do you have a mentor, someone you work with?
I don't want to jump on it because listen, everybody who's on this panel, obviously, I talked to Sarah, and I'm very fortunate enough that I got to meet Tully and Ed at NADA this year, and I saw Ed out and got to see him speak, and I don't know that anybody, and I'm not saying this because this is his panel, and obviously Ron, you and I have developed a relationship.
Sure.
Guys, for those that don't know, I've developed a relationship off air with Ted Ings, and I'm not saying that just because it's his panel. I probably talk to Ed 2 or 3 times a week. I call it my Dr. Phil moment with Ted, but Ted knows the business. Ted knows fixed operations, and it's not because he's trying to sell spots. It's not because he's trying to fill spots. As the business changed, Ted has changed too. So I don't take anything away from Ed or Tully or Sarah or anybody that I talk to on a regular basis, and they've helped me a ton. Guys, Ted, including as soon as this morning, I talk to Ted very often, and Ted has become a good friend, a good mentor, and a good leader for myself, to be very honest.
I wonder how Ted gets anything done, because he's a therapist for a lot of us. I
Yes.
mean, we call him up and we talk to him all the time, and it's like, Ted, do you ever how do you get all this stuff done? You got like 2,000 people coming to your roundtables, and who does all this work? Because you're talking to me all the time, or somebody else.
When I start, I always said, "You got a minute?" He goes, "Always got a minute for you, Sean." And he's never told me no. Let's put it that way.
It's great. He's really, really awesome. There is no question about it. Hey, one last final question. Off-site meetings. Where has been the best place you've gone where you've actually had a good meeting and it was a great location? Okay. I mean, I've had some great meetings in Hawaii, had some great meetings in the Turks and Caicos Islands. I don't really remember a lot of work getting done, but I had a great time there. But where have you gone that's actually been a great location for an off-site meeting where you really grew the morale of everyone there, and it was a fun place to be? Jim, how about yourself?
It's a great question. I would have to say that that I wouldn't want to go too far. I wouldn't want to take people too far, because the farther it is, the longer the whole thing takes. So I would be local. I'd probably pick New Orleans, not NADA necessarily, but when you're there outside of Mardi Gras, the combination of, you can get some work done, but the food that's available, the music, the architecture, there's a little bit of something for everybody. So that'd be my pick.
Sarah, other than an equestrian event, okay, where would you suggest that we would all go to have a great time?
Well, I'm a Georgia girl originally, so I would pick Sea Island, the Cloister, as my venue of choice. And I've actually been to both business meetings and leisure there. And so it is a phenomenal place that has really intimate conference room options. The food is fantastic. You can't get any better than being right there on the beach. And it's a very family-friendly environment. So if there's, me, I'm a mom, and that's sometimes an important decision that sometimes I have to make about a conference is, well, I might have to bring husband and kiddos along. So is it something that they can enjoy while I'm grinding away?
Tully, you've been working all the time. You don't get to go anywhere. You're always stuck in the office. But Ed, on the other hand, okay, traveled from like San Diego to the North Pole, last year. And, Ted, is there any one place that you would suggest was a good place to go?
So for me, what a lot of people don't know about me is I'm a collector of bourbon or brown water. It doesn't have to be bourbon. It could be scotch. It could be whatever. And I attend a mastermind session in Louisville. So I always tie a few days onto that for the Bourbon Trail. So there's great people there. There's always good content. There's people from both sides of the business, from the variable side, from the fixed side. So from that mastermind session, that's been a good destination for sure.
Fantastic. Now that sounds great. Sean, how about you?
For me, and as crazy as it sounds, I started as a negative anywhere but Vegas. And I don't mean to be negative, but everything is so distracting in Vegas. And to the point of New Orleans, yes, I love it. My best memories have obviously been, because I'm an old Chrysler guy. I have 28 years. I always like Dallas, Texas. I like Dallas. It's easy to get to. You can get there. You can get out. There's plenty to see in Uptown. There's a dry section, obviously not for Ed, but there's a dry section for the non-brown water. And then there's another side to Dallas too. I've always been a Dallas, Texas guy. Love Dallas, Texas. Now, without saying, I mean, if I had a first choice, it might be Lambeau. I don't know if you can guess that or not. But for those that don't know, you can do weddings at Lambeau. You can do meetings at Lambeau. You can do a lot of things at Lambeau. You just put it out there. There's things other than football at Lambeau Field.
Hard to believe, Sean.
I know,
Hard to
right?
believe that you would go there for anything other than memorabilia and
I know,
maybe
right?
football.
That's right.
Unbelievable. Well, let's see if we can pull Ted back into the room and tell him that we've had a lot of fun here together today. And I really appreciate all of you, your time together. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
You know, Ron, everybody here on this panel is a great friend. I want to say a special thanks today to Jim Roche. First time here on the Fixed Ops Magazine panel. I did not know Jim Roche until just maybe a couple years ago. I knew of Jim. I read books that he had written. Okay. He's a published author. The work he has done with things that we use every day, like X Time, Kelly Blue Book. So I've thought the world of him. And Ron, I kind of knew that the Fixed Ops events, when they started, growing just a couple years ago, were gaining some traction when we were honored to have Jim Roche actually appear on this event. So, Jim, I want to thank you today for being with us here on this panel and for placing us here today.
You're very kind, Ted. Thank you. I'm not sure that's all deserved, but I mean, what a great event this was. What great work you're doing. Thank you. And to all the panelists. I look forward to maybe meeting everybody in person in where is NADA going to be, Sean?
Lambeau Field.
I tell you, Jim, he makes me want to go to Wisconsin, right, to see that Lambeau Field, and some great history there, right, with Coach Lombardi and the Packers. But everybody on this panel, Sarah, has a great attitude, and that's one of the things that I think stands out. And just going back to some of the things that Sean said, and I'm not sure all that's deserved either. I do feel that the folks who are here today on this panel, we're all operating on a wavelength where, I think I know kind of what Ed is thinking. Maybe he knows what I'm thinking, and Tully and Sarah and Scott and Ron. And, there's a certain magic to some of the things that we're doing, and we're all kind of, operating in that vibe. So, I really appreciate all that you have done for Fixed Ops. And Ron, the idea of putting people like this on the cover, people like us on the cover of the magazine, has put a face to Fixed Ops, so that when we meet Ed Roberts, when we meet a Sarah Van Tyne, when we meet now a Tully Williams, this is Fixed Ops right here. This is where it's at. And this is a huge part of the business. And I want to, thank every one of you for your friendship and all you do for our community. And all of you have gone way out of your way, to be on panels and to, be involved in discussions. And so I'm very, very grateful to all of you for all that you do.
Sure.
Thank you, Ted.
Well, thank you, Ted, for sure.
And Ron, the magazine, just amazing what you're doing there. It's not only available in print, with a very high quality, the articles that you just talked about, those 10 that make it into the magazine, but you're online as well. And, very well respected. And I hear about it every single day, Fixed Ops Magazine. So congratulations to you, Ron, on all this success that you're having.
Thank you, Ted. It's an honor to do this. It's really been a lot of fun just to meet the personalities, these characters here. I mean, wow. You learn from each and every one. It's really been a lot of fun. It really has. It's been great.
So I want to thank everybody on behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Ron Overs, the publisher of Fixed Ops Magazine. Scott Gregg at Tucson Subaru. Scott, thanks so much for all you do for our industry. Ed Roberts, amazing. Just what you do, right, Ed? So thank you so much. Great interaction on all the roundtables. Sarah Van Tyne, thank you. We've learned so much from you, Sarah, and we continue to learn. So thank you for elevating our industry in so many ways. Sean Kingery, amazing work.
Thank you,
You've
sir.
got so many people who look up to you, and rightfully so. Tully, we met many years ago in Northern California, and just really proud of all you are doing for the industry today. Jim Roche, again, Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
all you do for our industry and more. And Ron Over is the publisher of Fixed Ops Magazine. Everybody, the Fixed Ops Magazine A-list panel here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.